I want to ask, what are you allowed to do in the Omer? What are you not allowed to do?
What do you mean?
What's the halachot of Sfirat Omer? We say there's a period of avilut of mourning.
Until Lag BaOmer.
Until Lag BaOmer. Why?
Because of the students of Rabbi Akiva.
Yes, so we told in the Gemara that the students of Rabbi Akiva, they all passed away. Talmidei Rabbi Akiva, 12,000 zugot. And they all passed away between the period of Pesach and Shavuot. Why?
They didn't respect one another. לא נהגו כבוד.
שלא נהגו כבוד זה בזה. Now here you see that even they were tremendous Talmidei Chachamim, and they were full of Torah, but you see the main purpose of the Torah, like the Gaon of Vilna says, is to correct your midot. And that's something you need to consciously think about and work on it. It's not just enough to study Torah. Torah is an aid to correcting your midot. I don't know if you can correct your midot without studying Torah, but it's not just enough to study Torah. It has to be both. And Hashem wiped out all of them. And if you see that, even if it's Talmidei Chachamim, we have to be very careful to correct the midot. It says the Gaon of Vilna, that's the main purpose of a person's life is just to correct his midot, to correct the midot. So this is a period of time. That's also why we're studying also Pirkei Avot, to correct our midot, to be mitaken, to nagu kavod ze bazeh. It's all connected without accepting Matan Torah in this period of time. That's why they died in this period of time. But what is it that we're not allowed to do in the Omer as a minhag of Avilut?
So shave, haircut.
Oh, so there's only three things. Three things they're not allowed to do, which is written down in the halakha. Also, the rest is a minhag. Number one is getting married. Getting married, we don't get married in this time. There's no weddings. Number two is dancing. And number three is haircuts. Now, everything else is tosafot. Now, let me explain what it means. People don't have engagement parties. You're allowed to get engaged. Okay, if someone meets his wife, you're allowed to get engaged. Even if to make a seudah is allowed, but there's no dancing at the seudah. Music. There's not actually a makor not to listen to music. There's a minhag not listen to music. But the isur is only from dancing or music which can lead to dancing. So therefore, which music is allowed? If you have music on your, let's say on your phone and you're ringing with your phone, yeah. If it's not music that's going to make you dance, okay? Or if you're listening to something on the way on the radio, there's a jingle. Or vocalist, a cappella music, or even classical music. According to Shlomo Zalman, you can listen to classical music, or even not vocally, or even non-vocally. As long as it's calm music, which is not bringing it to dancing, that's the only thing which is not allowed, according to Shlomo Zalman. The main thing is dancing. Haircuts, to cut your hair, that is also not allowed until Lag BaOmer. Some people say Lad BaOmer, the after Lag BaOmer, and according to the Arizal, until Shavuot, 3 days before Chag Shavuot. But that's only hair. Shaving is a minhag. That was just added on afterwards. So according to the Ikar Halacha, this is Rabbi Vadia says, he said somebody who finds it difficult not to shave, very difficult, then he's allowed to shave on Rosh Chodesh Iyar, which is going to be this Monday and Tuesday.
Monday?
He'll be allowed to shave. Monday and Tuesday.
So it's mine.
It's Rosh Chodesh Iyar, yeah. That's what he says. He says, Nagul Agalach Rosh Chodesh Iyar, that's fine. He said, B'makom Tzorech Gadol, that's what he said, Tzorech Gadol, he said, even every Erev Shabbat, to shave, not to have a haircut. Haircut, you should wait till Lag BaOmer. But to shave, as a sign of Avlut for these times, you can shave every Erev Shabbat, Letzorech Gadol, or Rosh Chodesh Iyar. Though that's it, that's the only three things which should be asur. Everything else would be allowed. So let me say, to buy new clothes, Shechianu, are you allowed to do that in the Omer? This is not to get mixed up with the Avelut of the 3 weeks. In the 3 weeks between Yeshiva Asar B'Tammuz and Tisha B'Av, that's Avelut when we're mourning for the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash, which was also of Sinat Chinam and also Ben Adam Lechavero. But here, it's only a lighter form of Avelut of Minhag. So there it's much more difficult. So the differences are shechianu, you're allowed to make shechianu. If you want to buy new clothes or you need, so the main thing you should do, wear the new clothes on Shabbat, maybe to be machadesh, but if you need to wear it on Yom Chol, that's also fine. If you have a Brit Milah or Mitzvah or Seudah, you can also, you're allowed to have even music with a Bar Mitzvah. If someone has a Bar Mitzvah in the Omer, what are you going to do? I had my Bar Mitzvah in the Omer. Bar Mitzvah in the Omer, it's fine. So that Mitzvah, if you do it on the day of the Seudah, it's machloket, but according to Rabbi Netanel, you can have music, live music at the Bar Mitzvah as well. Moving house, you can move house in the Omer. Not in the 9 days and not in the time, but also going to the beach or going swimming, that's also allowed in the Omer. Only in the 3 weeks is not allowed. Cutting your nails, also allowed. Shaving, what we said is not allowed is only for men. Women, they're allowed to shave. Any other questions on the minagim?
Yeah, but if you know, so there are some exemptions where you can have a haircut, no?
So I gave 3 exceptions which Rabbi Avadi brings down. One of them is shaving, but he says letzorech. Somebody who needs to, he can do it on Rosh Chodesh Iyar for a long time, or every Erev Shabbat, Lichvod Shabbat, he says he can do that. Those are the only 2 heterim that I see that he brings down. Erev Shabbat and Rosh Hashanah. If somebody's got medical reason that he needs to shave or something else, then he could be allowed to do that. That could be Tzorech Gadol.
So on Erev Shabbat, you can actually have a haircut.
He didn't say haircut. That's what I'm just looking down, and I said, he said, B'chol Erev Shabbat ifshar lakel b'giluach hazakan. That's what he says. He doesn't say hair. Hair needs to be to Lag BaOmer.
That's it.
Yeah, unless if someone's got other reasons which he needs to do it, then it could be that. Okay, about the bracha. Now, I don't know. The bracha, it's very important to count. I know there's like free apps you can download to remind you when to count, but just a few simple halachot. Can you count sitting down, or do you need to stand up for the counting? You see it on your phone. Okay, today's the 12th day of the Omer.
After Arvit, you mean?
After Arvit. So okay, so let me say, when should you count? When should you count the Omer? After Arvit.
Yeah.
When? From nightfall. As soon as it gets nightfall, that's the best time to say it. Then, if you miss that time, the whole night is also lechatchila to say it, with a bracha. B'diavad, you can read it even ben hashmashot. That means after Arvit, before nightfall, just ben hashmashot, after sundown, before it gets dark. That's also fine. B'diavad, if you're already doing mincha and Arvit and you maybe forget later, then you can do that. If you forget it at night, then you can count the next day bli bracha. That's why we have a minhag after shachrit. We say ayom, shneim ayom laomer.
Yeah, but if you did it in the evening, you don't need to do it in the morning again.
You don't need to, but it's good to have it to get used to it. Why? First of all, because if you forget at night, you remember in the day. Also, maybe you remind other people because you hear it, they'll remind them. If you got an app, it's good to make the app go every day at the same time, at night time, in the beginning of the night to say with a bracha. The whole night you can do it with a bracha. If you forget the night with a bracha and the day you forget, you missed the whole day, then you continue to count without a bracha because you need tmimot. Sheva Shabbatot tmimot, they have to be full days. If you missed one day, then you count without a bracha. And that's another advantage of counting in the day is that if you missed a night and you count the day, you can continue to count with a bracha. Now, what happens if you get it on your phone and your app and you say today's the 29th? Okay, so what do you do? You can say it sitting down or you need to stand up. So when you're making a bracha, you need to stand up. If you didn't stand up and you said already the bracha sitting down, yatsa yedei chova, you don't make a bracha again. But you should stand up when you're making the bracha. Second thing is enough just to read it, to read the day is the 12th day, or you have to actually say the 12th day? To see it is enough, like you're reading it, or you have to actually say it with your mouth. So, what do you say?
No, I think to say it's for them.
You need to say it. Okay, so let me ask you a question, Gilad. If you don't say it, if I hear you saying the Omer, you count and I'm just listening. I'm Yatzeh? Yes, because we have a klal shomea ke'oneh. If you're saying it and I hear it, if you have kavanah to be motzimi, then yotzeh. That's why a person, if you missed a day, you should count with the minyan, because the chazan reads it, it can be yotzeh from the chazan, with the bracha of the chazan. So why is listening different to reading? Because the klal is shomea ke'oneh. If somebody said the bracha and you heard it, as if you said it, but if to read it, it's not enough. You have to actually say it with your mouth. So it doesn't matter if you've seen it 100 times, the day is 12, and you thought about it. If you're reading it, it's not enough. You have to say it with your mouth and say the words. It has to go into your ears to hear it. So next time you hear it, see on the app, stand up, say the bracha. Another chidush I saw today, written down. It's not enough just to say the words.
And we stand up when we say yes.
Yeah, all brachot to stand up. We stand up, we say brachot for the code. To read it, can you read it in English? Or you must read it in Hebrew?
I can't think of a reason not to read in English.
Not read in English. So the answer is not only you can read in English, but if you don't understand the Hebrew, you must read in English, because you have to read in a language that you understand. So if you understand that what you're counting in Hebrew, Shavua Echad v'chamisha yamim, that's fine. But if you don't, you should read it in English. Today is 12th day, 1 week and 5 days. Make sure you read it in a language that you understand. Sefatim lachem. Do women need to count the Omer? Women?
I think yes.
Yes. So women, they're not obligated. They're patur from counting. If they want to count, then they can count without a bracha. Not allowed to make a bracha, because it's mitzvah taseish as man grama. But according to the Kabbalah, women shouldn't count at all. Now, I don't know why water is. I'm not a Kabbalist to say that, but if the Kabbalist said don't count, I told my wife, okay, don't count. Men counting. Men is preparing for the Kabbalat Torah. We need to be taken out midot, and we need to do that. That's our job and our obligation, not for women. But some Ashkenazi women have the minute to count, and they count without a bracha. Children, the children count
without bracha before bar mitzvah.
No, so very good. So children actually should count even with a bracha, because that's the chinuch. You're training them. This is, you make a bracha and you say, and even everybody says, even if they miss a day, just make them count. They're with you in shul, tell them to say it with a bracha like everybody. That's the minhag. The only chidush is what happens if he has bar mitzvah in the middle of Sfirat Omer. So in the beginning of the Omer, we didn't have a chiyuv. He just counted with a bracha midin chinuch. Now it's obligated. There's a big machloket in the Achronim. Machloket between Rabbi Netanel and Rabbi Zion. Bar mitzvah, where he counted every single day, and now he becomes bar mitzvah. Does he continue to count with a bracha? Because he didn't miss a day. Or he's not allowed to continue to count with a bracha because he was never obligated. His obligation only started now. So he doesn't have timimot. Because timimot is only for another, and he was a katan. So that's a big machloket, and according to Rabbi Vadia, he should carry on counting without a bracha, and according to Rabbi Zion, carry on counting with a bracha. That's just interesting machloket. And yeah, maybe just say one last halacha. Once it becomes nightfall, then there is a mitzvah to count. The whole night is to count. You can't count with the bracha. But a person shouldn't have a meal before he does the mitzvah of Sfirat Omer. It's a very important mitzvah, and because of that, you shouldn't miss it. So you are allowed to eat. You can have a drink, have a nibble, have a little bite to eat, even mizanot, even amotzi, but not a full meal of. He says here shiur kebetza, which is like 50 grams of like maybe a sandwich or something like that. That you shouldn't eat before you do Omer. Count the Omer and then eat. If you started your meal before nightfall, then you can continue because you started better. Half an hour before nightfall, you shouldn't start a meal. If you started before and then you stop and you make the bracha of Sfirat Omer.
When you say nightfall, you mean kochavim, not shkia.
Yes. So there's two. Thank you very much for that. There's two stages in the night. There's the shkia when the sun goes down, and then about 18 minutes later, we have the Tzeta Kochavim, which is the nightfall. The period of time is Ben Hashmashot. That during a period of time, you are allowed to count, but not lechatchila. The best time is the beginning of the night. That is the most lechatchila, and then the whole night is kasher with the bracha. So, Mazat Shalom, I wish everybody about tzlacha. We all be zocher to perfect our midot and fulfill the mitzvah of Tzkiyat Omer, and be nagu kavod ze bazeh. Allah, as we respect each other, we will bring closer the Mashiach, and be B'ezrat Hashem, be zocher to be Kabbalat Torah and Chag HaShavuot. I thank you all for joining me, and thank you for listening. I wish you all a good night.
Thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.